In today's world, many people seem to be competing to always be seen. Seen as busy, seen as productive, seen as successful, and even seen as happy. Everything gets shared on the internet. Food has to be photographed, new places have to be posted, relationships have to be displayed, and achievements have to be announced. Almost every moment feels as though it must be shown to other people. Without realizing it, we live in a world that makes many people believe that a meaningful life is a life that receives attention. The more people who see it, the more successful it is considered. The stronger the response from others, the happier it is assumed to be. Yet, reality is not always like that. As people grow older, many begin to understand something simple but important. Not everything needs to be known by the world. There is a certain peace that can only be felt when life is not overly exposed, when we stop feeling the need to explain everything to everyone. Being private does not mean being antisocial, cold, or living a life full of secrets. Being private is about understanding boundaries. It is about knowing what is appropriate to share and what is better kept to oneself. Because not everyone needs full access to our lives. The more people know about you, the more opinions will come your way. The more judgments, pressure, and even negative energy you receive. Eventually, life starts to feel crowded, your mind becomes overwhelmed, and your sense of peace gradually fades away. That is why, in this video, we will discuss 7 reasons why it is better to live a more private life. Not to distance yourself from the world, but to protect yourself, preserve your energy, and maintain your peace of mind. The first reason: not everyone is genuinely happy to see you happy. This may sound a little uncomfortable, but it is often true. Not everyone who smiles in front of you is truly happy to see your life progressing. Some people support you while secretly comparing their lives to yours. Some may appear pleased, but deep down, they feel envious. And the more you share your life, the greater the chance that feelings of jealousy and resentment will arise. Sometimes it is not because you are arrogant or showing off, but because human beings naturally tend to compare themselves to others, especially in today's social media era. Every day, people constantly see other people's lives. They see achievements, vacations, relationships, success, and lifestyles. All of this gradually creates mental pressure that often goes unnoticed. People begin to feel left behind, feel inadequate, and start questioning their own lives. That is where envy often arises, even from those who are close to us. Therefore, keeping certain things private does not mean being afraid of being seen as successful, nor does it mean you are not allowed to be happy. Rather, it is because not every happiness needs to be announced. Some things are safer when kept quietly to yourself, because sometimes the less people know, the more peacefully our lives unfold. People who live peacefully are usually not too busy showing everything. They enjoy their lives without feeling the need to constantly seek attention. They continue to grow, but they do not feel the need to prove anything. And that is a sign of maturity. As we grow older, we begin to realize that attention from many people does not always bring peace. Sometimes it simply brings new burdens. The second reason: you do not need validation from everyone. Many people, without realizing it, live their lives seeking recognition. They post things to receive praise, share their achievements to be seen as successful, and display their personal lives to feel more valuable. The problem is that when our happiness depends on other people's responses, life becomes very fragile. That is because human opinions are always changing. Today you are praised, tomorrow you are forgotten. Today you are supported, tomorrow you are compared to others. Today people seem to care, tomorrow they may not pay attention to you at all. If your life continues to depend on validation, you will constantly crave attention, and that is exhausting. People who are genuinely confident are usually not overly concerned with seeking recognition. They do not feel the need to explain everything, nor do they feel compelled to prove themselves to everyone. They understand that their self-worth is not determined by likes, comments, or the attention of others. Living a private life helps us learn one important lesson. We can feel content even when we are not always being seen. And that is a powerful form of mental freedom. Because when you stop living for validation, you begin to live more honestly with yourself. You start doing things because you genuinely want to do them, not because you want to look impressive in the eyes of others. You begin to enjoy life without constantly worrying about how other people judge you. And that is where peace begins to emerge. Unfortunately, many people today are too afraid of appearing ordinary. Yet life is not a competition of image building. Not everything has to be made to look extraordinary. Sometimes, the most peaceful life comes from simplicity, from from a life that is not constantly seeking the spotlight. The third reason, privacy is a form of strength. There is a reason why people who are truly strong often do not talk much about their plans. It is because they understand something that not everyone does. Not everything needs to be announced from the very beginning. The more you talk, sometimes the more energy you waste. Many people are too quick to talk about their dreams, too quick to share their goals, and too quick to announce the process of their lives. Yet there is no guarantee that everything will succeed. As a result, energy is spent not on building a better life, but on maintaining an image. We become more concerned with appearing to grow than with actually growing. We become more focused on looking productive than on truly concentrating on our work. People whose lives are stable, on the other hand, usually move quietly. They focus on improving their lives, working, learning, and growing without feeling the need to be constantly seen by others, because they understand that in the end, the results will speak for themselves. Privacy creates a quiet space. A space to think, a space to fail, and a space to try again without the pressure of too many people watching. And that is important, because not every stage of life goes smoothly. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we feel confused, and sometimes we fall. Not every phase of life needs to be witnessed by a crowd. There's a certain strength in living life quietly. In a world that has become so noisy, people who can maintain their inner calm are often the stronger ones. They are not easily influenced, not easily distracted, and not easily led astray. The fourth reason, living a more private life can reduce drama and toxic circles. The more people know about your life, the greater the chance that drama will find its way into it. Today, people are curious. Tomorrow, they start getting involved. Then, little by little, they begin talking about your life to others. Without realizing it, life starts to feel exhausting, not because your life is bad, but because there are simply too many outside voices. Sometimes the biggest problems in life do not come from within ourselves, but from people who have become too deeply involved in our personal lives. Toxic circles often emerge when personal boundaries begin to disappear. Everyone starts to feel entitled to have an opinion, entitled to comment on our life choices, and even entitled to decide how we should live. In reality, not everyone truly cares. Some are merely curious, some just want the latest story, and some simply enjoy drama. The more we reveal everything, the more room we create for negative energy to enter our lives. That is why people who live more peacefully usually have clear boundaries. They remain friendly, kind, and respectful toward others, but they do not share everything with everyone. They understand that not everyone deserves to know the details of their lives, because closeness does not always mean sincerity. Some people stay close simply because they want to know more, some because they want to compare themselves to you, and others because they are only interested when your life appears exciting. Therefore, maintaining privacy does not mean distancing yourself from everyone. It means choosing who truly deserves a place close to your life. As we grow older, we begin to realize that protecting our mental energy is far more important than trying to please everyone. And the better you maintain your boundaries, the less drama there is to drain your mind. Life feels lighter, calmer, and less crowded by other people's affairs. The fifth reason, life becomes more focused on yourself. One of the most exhausting things in life is worrying too much about other people's judgments, being afraid of being seen as a failure, afraid of being seen as unsuccessful, afraid of being left behind, or afraid of being seen as living an ordinary life. As a result, many decisions are made not based on what we truly need, but on how we want to be perceived by others. We buy things to appear successful. We force ourselves into certain lifestyles to gain recognition. We chase standards of living that were never truly ours to begin with, and without realizing it, we start to lose our authenticity. Life becomes a performance. Everything is done for the sake of maintaining an image. Yet the more we live according to other people's opinions, the further we drift from ourselves. That is why living a private life can be so helpful. When life is not constantly filled with outside noise, it becomes easier to hear ourselves. We begin to ask, what do I truly want? What genuinely brings me peace? What really matters in my life? Questions like these are incredibly important because many people appear successful but are actually exhausted. They seem happy but feel empty inside. They look impressive, yet their lives are filled with pressure, all because they are too busy maintaining an image. People who live more peacefully are usually not too busy explaining their lives. They are not concerned with appearing victorious in everyone else's eyes. They simply want their lives to be genuinely healthy, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that is far more important. Because in the end, life is not about who receives the most praise. It is about who can truly enjoy their life without constantly feeling pressured by the judgments of others. When you begin to focus on yourself, life feels more authentic. You no longer force yourself to do things for validation, nor do you constantly compare your life to other people's. And little by little, you begin to find the peace that was once missing. The sixth reason: privacy can protect your relationships. Not every relationship needs to be displayed for everyone to see, because the more people know about your relationship, the more opinions will come your way. Today, people support you. Tomorrow, they begin commenting, and before long, they start getting involved. A small problem becomes a topic of discussion, and a minor conflict becomes public consumption. Eventually, the relationship loses the safe space it needs to grow. Yet, healthy relationships usually develop in peace, not under constant scrutiny. Nowadays, many people are so busy showing off their relationships that they forget to actually take care of them. What matters is looking romantic, looking harmonious, and looking happy on social media. But reality is not always like that. Many relationships that appear perfect on the internet are actually filled with pressure behind the scenes. And on the other hand, many truly happy relationships progress quietly without being constantly displayed. Because a relationship is not a performance. A relationship is a personal space between two people who care for and support one another. It is not meant for public consumption, nor is it something that should be subject to other people's judgment. Privacy helps keep a relationship warm and healthy. Not every problem needs to be known by many people. Not every beautiful moment needs to be posted online. And not every happiness needs to be announced. Sometimes, something feels more genuine when it is enjoyed only by the people who are truly involved in it. As we grow older, we begin to realize that quiet happiness is often far more beautiful than happiness that is constantly put on display. Healthy relationships are not always the most visible or talked about. Often, they are the quietest and simplest ones. That is because the people in them are busy taking care of each other, not busy convincing the world that they are happy. And when a relationship is not overwhelmed by outside pressure, it becomes easier to live with, more honest, more secure, and stronger in the face of challenges. The seventh reason: life feels calmer, more peaceful, and far removed from unnecessary drama. Ultimately, the biggest reason why life is better lived more privately is peace of mind. A life that is too open often causes the mind to become crowded. Too many opinions come in. Too much attention is directed toward us, and too much outside energy begins to influence our lives. As a result, life can feel constantly noisy and overwhelming. We become preoccupied with what other people say, busy maintaining an image, and focused on preserving a certain impression. Gradually, we lose the space to genuinely enjoy life. Yet happiness often grows in a life that is simple and peaceful. People who live peacefully are usually not overly concerned with seeking attention. They enjoy life at their own pace, appreciate the process, cherish their small circle of trusted people, and carefully protect their energy. That is why their lives often feel lighter. They do not burden themselves with the need to constantly appear impressive. As we grow older, we begin to understand one important truth. Not everything needs to be proven to the world. Not everyone needs to know that we are making progress. Not everyone needs to know that we are happy. And not everyone needs to know all of our plans for life. Because life is not a stage for a performance. Peace often comes when we stop trying to be seen by everyone. Perhaps that is also why many of the people who seem the most at peace are those who live the most private lives. They continue to grow, succeed, and find happiness, but without creating too much noise around it. They are not busy seeking recognition, explaining their lives, or comparing themselves to others. They are simply focused on living their own lives, and that is what makes life feel so much calmer. Because the less noise there is from the outside world, the more clearly we can hear ourselves. We become more aware of what truly matters, what genuinely makes us happy, and who the people are that sincerely belong in our lives. Living a private life also makes us more selective. We become more careful about opening up to others, wiser about whom we trust, and more aware that our energy is valuable. Because not everyone comes with good intentions. Some people come only out of curiosity. Some appear only when we seem successful, and there are even those who quietly take satisfaction in our failures. That is why keeping parts of our lives private can be a form of self-protection. Not because we are afraid of the world, but because we have begun to value our peace of mind. As we grow older, we begin to realize that a peaceful life is far more valuable than momentary attention. People's praise can fade and their attention can shift, but inner peace is something much harder to attain. So it is perfectly okay if you start sharing less about your life. It is okay if you begin keeping certain things just for yourself. It is okay if you choose silence rather than feeling the need to explain everything. Because you are not obligated to make everyone understand your life. Not everyone needs to know what you are struggling through. Not everyone needs to know what you are building, and not everyone needs to know what you are feeling. Some things are simply better kept in silence, because something that is displayed too often can sometimes lose its meaning. Meanwhile, something that is quietly protected often feels more genuine, deeper, and more meaningful. Living a private life does not mean being completely closed off. You can still make friends, socialize, and enjoy life with other people. But you begin to understand boundaries. You start to recognize what is worth sharing and what is better kept to yourself. Because not everyone has the same intentions, and not everyone deserves to get too deeply involved in your life. Sometimes, maintaining a certain distance actually makes life healthier, less drama, less pressure, and less mental exhaustion. In a world that has become so noisy, the ability to live peacefully is something truly valuable. And the people who are able to preserve that peace are usually not the ones who talk the most about their lives, but the ones who know how to take care of themselves. Perhaps lately you have felt that life has become too exhausting. Your mind feels overcrowded, your energy drains quickly, and your heart feels unsettled. Maybe you have been opening up too much of your life to other people, explaining yourself too often, trying too hard to be understood, and seeking too much validation. Yet perhaps what you need is not more attention, but greater peace. Maybe all you need is to start setting boundaries, protecting your energy, and safeguarding the peace in your own life. Because not everything needs to be announced, not everything needs to be put on display, and not everything needs a response from other people. Some things are more beautiful when they are kept in silence, more genuine when they are enjoyed privately, and more peaceful when they are not known by the whole world. I hope this video serves as a reminder that living a private life does not mean withdrawing from the world. Rather, it is about preserving your peace in the midst of a world that is often too noisy. It is about protecting yourself amid countless opinions. And it is about learning to enjoy life without always needing to be seen by everyone. Because in the end, the most peaceful life is often the one that is not constantly put on display.